Alright, everyone, YouTube will pop up, but work with me. Alright, how's it going, everyone? I am ND Sean 45, coming at you with a brand new video. And for this very special video, as you can tell, I have a guest joining me. So, without further ado, please welcome Ireland's biggest Notre Dame football fan, the one, the only, Shamrock Jerry. Jerry, how's it going, my friend?
How are you? Cade Mead Fulcher from Dublin, Ireland here from me, Shamrock Jerry and Finnegan. So we're just relaxing here. We're having an old cool swig here tonight, just to cool us down as we start this so-called debate. And let's rock with it. Let's go with it.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, I'm working with a screen recording program here because that's the best way I could have gotten Jerry on. So this might not look the best, but who cares? It's what we have to talk about is most important here. Now,
hold on, Finnegan. You let go of the bottle, Finnegan. Let go of the bottle, Finnegan. There. Sorry, Sean.
It's all right. He was thirsty. But anyway, now, Jerry, there is a big reason why I had asked you to come on this video, and of course, you know why already. But just in case you might not know, because they may not report this over in Ireland, but with everything that's been going on in the world, with especially over here with, Black Lives Matter, and what follows that is a cancel culture. One of the biggest things going on right now is this controversy of cancel culture coming after team names. Like the biggest one right now is the Washington Redskins NFL team. They have a lot of pressure put on them right now to change the name, and that's been the case in recent years, especially with the heat picking up. And to make a long story short, with all the libtards trying to push this agenda and this fake outrage, as I call it, of course we knew that cancel culture would,
or PC correctness.
Yeah, political correctness, yes. We knew that it was going to trickle down to even college teams. Now, I showed you the article already, but there was an article written by a guy by the name of Daniel Morrison of slapthesign.com, which is a Notre Dame football website. He wrote an article, and this is just to fill everybody else in, he wrote an article saying, is it time, I think it's about time, that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish change their nickname. And I first saw this, I read the article, just an absolute piece of garbage. This Daniel Morrison guy is a real schmuck. Just the fact that Slap the Sign would even allow this piece of shit to even write such a shitty article is beyond me. So, myself being of Irish heritage, it's easy for me to have outrage and whatnot and be pissed off, but I wanted to go right to the source. Jerry, you are a native Irishman, born and raised. You have been over here to America. You've been to South Bend with me for a couple of football games. When I sent you the article, and I know you read it, what's the first thoughts that you had come to mind?
Well, the first thoughts that came to mind when I was eating me Lucky Charms for breakfast this morning is when I read this complete gobshite article, Danny Morrison, that's his real name. But he basically is attacking the University of Notre Dame's mascot and the history behind the Fighting Irish, the name. And he says he's of Irish descent, but he's not Irish as in like native Irish. It's, he doesn't really know the history, the complete history. He's just going by what is normally stereotypes. Well, the Irish have been called many things. We've been called Taigs, which is a derogatory name by the Tudor English or British when they invaded Ireland. Loyalists called us that, and it's an ethnic slur on Irish people, and so is Tory. Tory is Gaelic for for outlaws and robbers, and they labelled us with that. So I don't see him going after real anti-Irish sectarian type of names and slurs that have been bestowed upon the Irish. He seems to go after something that is a glorious title for the Irish, the Fighting Irish, which was named, which was given that name by the Irish Brigade that fought in the American Civil War, and many of Irish that fought in the 1776 Revolution. I mean, he fought in countless wars for America, First World War and Second World War. And, Father Corby, there's a statue of him at Gettysburg, who he blessed the Irish Brigade and gave them absolution before these men went to their deaths. And also the history when they built South Bend, when it was burned to the ground. These men, after war, came back and helped rebuild this university. And also the students of Irish descent and Polish descent, which basically, when the Ku Klux Klan came to South Bend, were basically willing and going to attack the university because it was a Catholicism university. They were going to attack it, and the students went out and met them with force and drove them off.
Yeah, you're not going to bring your racism here.
We also had and this is history as well with the Irish when they were playing a game back in the late 30s, I think it was 30s or 40s. The crowd were shouting, "Kill the Irish, kill the Irish." And it was meant to be a derogatory term towards Irish people. But we took to the challenge, and the coach basically said, "Are you not worth a fighting lick? You are Irish, get up there and fight." And they went out and they won that game and bet them.
Yeah.
So we've great history to that name, the Fighting Irish. The Fighting Irish is spirit. But it's not just that. You don't have to be Irish. You don't have to be an older end to be Irish. It's the spirit that's inside. That's what Lou Holt said, and I commend him on that. And that's what Father Jenkins said as well. It's how we excel in our dreams. And the real motto of Notre Dame is not really just the Fighting Irish. The real motto is love, hope, and sweetness. I don't see this idiot highlighting those types of things. I mean, they're great things to have, but he seems to just cherry pick at something. I mean, what's next with these PC crowd? Are they going to sort of want to take down the mural of Touchdown Jesus because they don't subscribe to that faith, but they go to that university though, but they don't subscribe to Christianity? Will they want to take all Christian symbols down off the university? No, they can go elsewhere, because this is an institution that's founded on that faith, a faith in God, Jesus, and Our Lady, which is Notre Dame.
Now, Jerry, since you brought that up, I was just curious. I know there's going to be plenty of people watching this video who already know you and know the history of us and us being friends and whatnot. But you did grow up over in Ireland and occasionally caught a Notre Dame football game, correct?
Oh, yes. Notre Dame played here in 1996. It was in Croke Park. I think it was in Croke Park.
Yeah, it was Croke Park.
And it was great to see them come to Ireland. And they were here in 2016. Was it 16 or 14?
2012 is when we were last
12,
there.
yeah. They come over for that. They were due to come over this year again, but due to the so-called COVID-19 virus, things have had to be put on a back burner with what's happening with the global pandemic.
And as long as you've known of the University of Notre Dame and their nickname being the Fighting Irish, did one thing, you being a native Irishman, did one thought ever cross your mind like, hey, I'm offended by this, I'm pissed off by this, I think it should be banned?
No, not at all. Sure, we love wearing that type of statement on our T-shirts. It gives us pride, and it also tells others that as the fighting Irish, we're not to be messed with in any way. The Irish have had that type of, we've had too many type of derogatories put on us over the years in certain ways. We were ashamed of our culture, ashamed of our language, ashamed to, we were like serfs. We were downtrodden type of people. And imperialism did that to Ireland. And these political correct people don't know anything about Ireland's history or what the people went through. Like, the Irish weren't just taken to America. They were taken all over this world. And if you want to call them, they were taken to Barbados and to the island of Monastratin, Virginia, to work the sugar and tobacco plantations as indentured servants. But let's be realistic. Most of these people, they got a contract of 3 to 7 years. But they were only let go. They were only given their freedom when they were on their last legs. They were basically dying.
Yeah.
And when they brought over African slaves, they took the place because they were so-called bigger and stronger, and they were able to take that type of heat. We Irish live in a more colder and a northern climate. That's why up by Chicago and Boston, that's where most of our race of people settled.
Yeah.
And in Canada and North America. We're Celts. We're Celtic and Viking type of people.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't hear us bitching about, oh, this is offensive to us, you need to pay us reparations and all that. No, we can actually learn from history, forgive it, and move on towards the future.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, I just feel that this so-called liberalist, leftist, Marxist type of people are funded by certain millionaires in America and the media, and they are pushing this agenda. Not only are they using black people, but they're using white people. They literally are trying to store shit. And they're going to keep doing that coming up to the general election in America. But we'll stick to the one thing. I don't want to go off. Right. To me, the American people have figured out who's doing what and who's up to what.
Yeah.
The whole thing is, don't engage. Don't engage with these people, and don't engage. And there's better ways of protesting, but do not engage with these people that are dressed up in black hoods, going out with hammers and homemade anarchist cookbooks and fire bombs and basically terrorizing the cities, because the American authorities and the police and so forth and the governments and communities will not tolerate these types of people, and they will be jailed for what they're doing. They're basically terrorizing downtown cities and so forth, making them uninhabitable and unlivable. And they're doing that for a reason. That's a form of paramilitary terrorism for what they're doing.
Absolutely. I made 2 videos recently on this channel saying close enough to that same exact thing. But I guess, like you said, we shouldn't draw too off topic here. But getting back to the topic at hand, it's safe to say that this Daniel Morrison of slapthesign.com, maybe he's definitely one of these libtard, snowflake, be offended at everything type people. Now, maybe you could argue that he wrote this article just to get attention, which, from looking on Slap the Sign's Twitter feed and his own Twitter account, and on Love the Notre Dame, a Facebook group that I'm a part of. And hi guys, this video is somewhat inspired by you guys. I just wanted to share this little treat with you. He's getting the backlash, and maybe that's why he wrote this article, was to get attention, which is a fair argument. But regardless whether it's to get attention or he's actually serious and actually believes this nonsense that he wrote, it's a complete asinine to even say this or suggest this.
Well, can I just say something here? Whether he's doing it for attention or not, but the thing is, what he's instigating is very dangerous. He's basically trying to, and these people, as I call them, are trying to strip America of their identity and culture. From everything to anything. If we were playing Tiddlywinks and we were named the Fighting Pennies, he'd say it was discrimination against pennies.
Yeah, it's
I mean, where does it stop? I mean, the Cleveland Browns, are they going to say, no, you'll have to change it to the Cleveland non-colour because it insults Latino and brown people.
Yeah,
You know,
or are they going to want to change the New York Giants because, that's a derogatory term towards fat people?
yeah, but you see, this is the thing. They are. This is where I find that they're very dangerous. These people are very dangerous. They're basically trying to turn everything on its head and twist it to their agenda. Well, I'm sorry, no. This is Notre Dame. Our Lady looks over this place. This is what we're about. We are MD. This is the Fighting Irish. And we will bring down the thunder upon you if you keep it up.
And that's exactly the same thing with the whole Washington Redskins thing. I mean, what people like to turn it into a race thing towards Native American Indians, but the term redskin, from what I read, came from Native American Indians painting their faces in red war paint from when they went into battle. So if anything, that name is a symbol of pride toward Native Americans, and the majority of Native Americans, 90%, 90 freaking percent at least, maybe more, are not offended by the name. So I just find it so. I just want to make this last point, Jerry, and I'll let you talk. But I just find it so funny that in recent years, all of these people, which are really all liberal snowflakes, they all of a sudden are offended by this and make this into an issue.
No, well, this is where I'm telling you, they're not offended. What they're basically doing is instigating their ideology to change things, and that's their form of attacking. What better way? And we saw what the British did years ago. What better way than to ban the person's identity and language, and to take away their sport and culture and their heritage, to say that something's derogatory, to which it isn't, and twist it on its head. And they would jump for joy. They would jump for joy if that was taken away. That would be seen as a victory in their eyes. Well, it ain't going to happen. The Washington Redskins, any Native American would be delighted that Native Americans are being highlighted, whether it's in sports or hockey or literature. We know that the Native Indians got a very, very bad time and a terrible time, right?
Yeah.
We know exactly. But Native Indian people, they run casinos. They have the reservations that are wrong, right? I didn't put them there. The American government put them there. But they are doing what they're trying to do is revitalise the Native Indian culture, right? In all types of means, even in sport. So don't let some liberalist Marxists try and tell you any otherwise, because they don't have a culture.
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
have a culture at all. Culture. Marxism was never a culture at all. It was about taking down the other side and ruling over other people and telling people that everyone has an equal share when they don't.
Well, let me tell you something. Marxism and communism, I really don't see a difference between the two. If anything,
this is the thing. This is the thing. America is not a Marxist or a communist country. It's a capitalist country, but it's also a country of free speech and liberty and so forth. The right to bear arms and to protect your family and home. And that'll never be taken away from any American. You know? Yes, there is problems within the black community and within certain parts of the white community and a bit of policing, but they will be changed, and they are America's problems. And it will be Americans that will basically fix those problems. Not outsiders, Americans.
Yeah.
But in saying that, though, he turns and says that the mascot, the leprechaun, is an insult to Irish people. He doesn't even know the history of the leprechaun.
And that's a common thread that I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's a common thread that I've noticed with most, liberal people, is they are not very educated. They do not do any research whatsoever. But go ahead with the leprechaun.
Yeah, the leprechaun basically comes from the Celtic folklore of they do and they dan. When the Celts arrived in Ireland over 5,000 years ago, there was a tribe of other people that were there, a mystical type of people, the Druids. And this is where Halloween comes in. At the time of when summer is dying and autumn is coming, it's the dying of one season and entering into another world of Winterland. Even Winterland comes from a Viking type of word, Winterland. And basically, they had gathered in the harvest, like we still do throughout the Western world. We gather in the harvest and the field, and we light the big bonfires to keep evil spirits away. And the children were dressed up as goblins and ghosts and ghouls, so that when evil spirits did approach the camp, they couldn't recognize who were the children and who were the adults, so they couldn't take them. So that's Halloween for you on Samhain.
Yeah.
And basically, the leprechauns were basically evil little, demonic little creatures, and they would go out trying to steal children, and a great battle ensued, and it came to a stalemate where they made an agreement where we, the Gaelic, Native Irish, the Celts, would rule the above world, and they would rule the underworld. It's very much like what's that?
Like a Lord of the Rings kind of thing?
Lord of the Rings type of thing. It's very much that type of thing. All you geeky people out there would love all that type of thing. So with that, that's the history of where the leprechaun comes. But you also must remember that the leprechaun, even though it's a bit of a demonic type of little creature who's ready to fight and so forth, what subdues him is, if you look in his hat, he has the shamrock, the Holy Trinity of the shamrock, which is in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And that's what subdues him to keep him good. There's lucky shamrock that's in it, the St. Patrick shamrock, and that's something he has. That's not to be frowned upon. That's part of our Celtic folklore and our culture.
Yeah.
And why? And we see it in America every year when we have Halloween. That's Celtic American culture.
Yeah.
Same with the Celtic cross. The Celtic cross has the circle of Celtic paganism, and then when Christianity came to Ireland, it has a cross and a circle. So we have two ideologies coming together, and I could go into that on another day, but that's what that stands for. So this Daniel Morrison is, if he's going to attack Notre Dame and its symbols and so forth, he'd want to know exactly what he's talking about. But honestly, he's a bit of a snowflake and he doesn't know what he's talking about.
No.
The only thing that he's saying is, Ireland, we came here in the 18th century and we were poor and we were put down. Of course we knew we were put down. We know what we went through. I mean, we saw all the other slang words. When the Irish went into the police force, they were called the Keystone Cops, or here comes the paddy wagon.
Yeah, we could bitch about that nonstop, but we don't.
Yeah, we don't. So, all Americans out there and so forth, you learn the history of why these titles were bestowed upon us in a certain way. I mean, when you say Thursday.
Yeah.
When you say, well, tomorrow's Thursday. Well, Thursday comes from a Viking word, which is Thor. Thor's Day, which is the god of Thor, which is the god of war.
I didn't know that.
That's where that comes from. And so each culture within Europe brought something together and that's what we know what it's about. Our language and our speech and why we say certain things and why we say certain things. Why do Americans say awesome? Well, that could be, hey, that's amazing. But if you put an American twist onto it, it went from amazing to awesome. It's the way they pronounce it, or the way you would hear it from a different person, they would put something else onto it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys one thing. As long as I've known, I'll tell you guys one thing. As long as I've known Jerry, you get it. You get a history lesson from this guy. That's for sure. He knows his shit. Unlike Mr. Morrison of Slap the Sign, who is completely brain dead, and shame on his superiors at Slap the Sign for even letting an asinine article go up in the first place.
Well, here's my message to all Notre Dame fans. When the next game ensues in September, carry a banner into that stadium with the Fighting Irish play like a champion today.
Oh, people.
And even if you want to, get it spelt in the Irish language.
Yeah,
it's
Gaelic
part
language.
Of your culture. It's your Gaelic language. It's part of your culture. You know. So do those type of things, and even if you want to put it in Latin,
Yeah.
which is you have Latin masses there. All these things that all embrace Notre Dame University. All these different types of traditions. Like we have the Irish Guards that dress in the Celtic uniform.
Yeah.
As warriors. All those guys where they wear the brooches, they're all Celtic and special brooches that our ancestors wore. That's the way they dressed back in those days, because they had to survive. They were like survivalists. They had to survive out in the wilderness. There was no fridges or there was no Walmart or anything like that. You had to basically hunt for your food, and you had to be able to survive.
Yeah, true rugged outdoorsman.
Oh yeah, I mean, like these were warriors, and that's what we are a descent of. We are a descent of a great tribe of people, and long may we last. But we're human beings, and as I said, the University of Notre Dame is more than just about football and sports. It's science, it's academics, it's the inventions that they make, and it's charities around the world that help all types of people.
Yeah.
I mean, these are great things, and you have this idiot attacking the university over its name. I tell you, I don't think he should even set foot on Notre Dame. Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He basically just wants them called the Irish.
He claims to be a fan, but he really isn't much of a fan. After no true Notre Dame fan would write such a stupid and full of shit article like that.
Well, then here's one for you. Why doesn't he attack the products that are called Lucky Charms or Irish Spring? Yeah, I put a bit of Irish underneath my armpit here. I'm stinking.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
why doesn't he go after products like that?
I don't know. I think that these people just like to go after pro teams and college teams because they know that'll get them the most attention, cause the most controversy, rile people up.
Well, you'll join me in this, and we'll say this, Sean. What is he? He's
gobshite.
Gobshite. That's where he is.
Now
He's a gobshite.
Explain what that means.
And a gobshite means there's your gob, your mouth, and he's talking shite.
Now,
so he's a gobshite.
Yes, he is. Now I'll tell you one thing. He said at the end of his article, "Change is good, embrace it." Well, Mr. Morrison, the only thing I embrace is for you to go F yourself.
Yeah, Mr. Morrison, change, your change, right? You are just one. We are many.
Yes.
We are MD Nation. We are the Fighting Irish.
And speaking of that, Jerry, tell me again how you say I am Irish, I am American in Gaelic. How do you pronounce that?
Ismisha era, Ismisha American.
Ismisha era, Ismisha American.
I am Ireland and I am America.
Yes. Booyah. I love it. Just hearing that gives me chills. So, anyway, I think this is a good point to wrap it up, Jerry. I mean, I think we made our point towards this liberal snowflake schmuck, Mr. Morrison, and slapped a sign, which just by posting that article has become a complete disgrace. So, again, you love the Fighting Irish. As a native Irishman, you are not offended by it.
No, not at all. And I think most Notre Dame fans will answer the call of this gobshite when they enter into that stadium and hold up the banners and scream out loud, "Here come the Irish, and we are the Fighting Irish."
Well, so far he hasn't said shit since the backlash started. So I wonder if
Why would he?
He's probably hiding in his little dwelling somewhere.
That's it, Mr. Morrison. Away home to your mammy. Go on now.
Yeah, the dinner bell's ringing.
The wooden spoon. You're getting the wooden spoon from all the Notre Dame fans.
All right. Well, listen, everyone. That's all we have for you. I think Jerry and I made our point. So you guys heard it straight from the source. A native Irishman loves the University of Notre Dame, loves the name Fighting Irish, loves the Leprechaun. What more do I need to say? What more do I need to prove? You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. So,
yeah, so we'll give a shout out to a few people. Jerry Kennedy. He's the most handsome man. What can you say? If I only had his looks. What? But and also to Pat Woolsey, I hope he's well, and to Walter Mackey, and to Ben Walters as well.
Yeah, Ben, I'm glad you mentioned...
A true dedicated Irishman.
I'm glad you mentioned Ben because, see, Ben, everyone, he goes by Irish Benjamin 57 on his own channel. He just made a video today calling out Mr. Morrison as well, and I advise all of you to go check it out. I'll post a link in the description box below. He had a very powerful message on this topic as well. But also, I want to give a shout out again to everyone at Love the Notre Dame Facebook group. You guys will definitely get this video. John, I hope you posted. I know you took down the survey, but make an exception for this because I think if you've all watched till the end, you've loved what you heard.
Just one more thing before we go, which is a total different topic.
Sure.
I'd like to give my sympathies to Lou Holtz.
Oh, yes.
On the loss of his beautiful wife.
Yes.
I hope may God look upon him and her and Lutz at this hard time, at this time in his life, that he stays strong and that the Irish family is with you. May God bless you, Lutz, and we hope that we see you very soon this September.
Absolutely, that was beautiful, Jerry, and very well spoken. In memory of Lou Holtz's wife, Beth. So, on that note, everyone, I am Indy Sean 45, and my good buddy Shamrock Jerry. Thank you for watching. God bless, and go Irish, baby!